Jimmy O'Brien was a wedding videographer whose irreverent baseball videos regularly went viral on YouTube. When he sought to turn those views into a full-blown sports media brand, he turned to Courtney Hirsch, an advertising sales executive who also happened to be his sister. Today, Hirsch is Chief Operating Officer of Jomboy Media, a 6-year-old brand known for its videos, podcasts, and series of made-up sports competitions. How she is building a diversified business around that content is what we'll be discussing today on The Marketer's Brief, our weekly discussion of marketing news and trends that have the industry buzzing. Jomboy today has 20 different creators, 44 different shows, and has made more than 5,000 videos. Its sponsors are getting access to a young and engaged audience, Hirsch said, and a tone of voice that's opinionated and sharp, but avoids the hot takes and deliberate controversy typical of other sports-focused media brands. We'll also discuss the brand's first TV deal, bringing Blitzball to Bally Sports airwaves. I'm John Springer, senior reporter at Ad Age, and this is the Marketer's Brief podcast. Courtney Hirsch, welcome to the Marketer's Brief podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. You're with Jomboy Media. Your role is COO, is that correct?
Yep, Chief Operating Officer at Jomboy Media.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about who you are and sort of how you got here.
Sure. So I grew up in advertising sales, running and leading sales teams. And I am actually Jimmy, our founder, Jomboy's sister. So when he started building this company and started to think about, when he first started doing it, it was really all about community and content, and it still very much is today. And then when he started to think about how do I operationalize this and monetize and turn it into a business, I could fill his biggest need at the moment. So we are related. We never, ever thought we would work together. This is still kind of new for us some days, but I came on board to put some infrastructure in place and to start monetizing through advertising and brand partnerships, and then really scale the sales team. And then last year, I transitioned into the COO role, and I really operate the business and leave Jimmy and the rest of our creators to do what they do best, is create content and focus on their community. And my role is really to build a diversified business around them.
Okay. Did Jimmy come asking you for help, or did you kind of raise your hand and say, I can do that?
You know what? My mom played middleman. So we were both talking through my mom until we got the courage to talk to each other. But yeah, I think he really knew that this was my background and specialty, but we are super close as friends and siblings. So making that jump was a big moment for us.
Yeah. Was he skilled at doing baseball commentary as a child?
Jimmy was really skilled at creating videos, really fun and engaging videos. So he's done this his whole life. A couple of years ago, he started to build an audience, but there's nothing new about the content he produces.
Okay. So I'm going to have to explain a little bit about what Jimmy does, or what Jomboy does, because what brought him to my attention was his ability to sort of lip read umpires and managers arguing with one another in baseball games and making videos about that, which was like the kind of content that baseball fans had never seen before. It was totally unique in a world where everything is on video. And later in 2019, he kind of used that ability to make a video about the Houston Astros sign stealing scandal. And that was real journalism. That kind of moved the needle and was really something. I'm assuming that was sort of the thing that kind of turned Jomboy from a interesting Twitter account into a full-blown media platform.
Yeah, I think that's what really put us on the national map. Before that, we had his Twitter account. He had Talkin' Yanks, which is the #1 Yankees podcast. And he started to create these YouTube videos. And a lot of people know us from the lip reading. And this is the talent that he had as a child. We would watch the games together as a family. And my dad would always pause the TV and say, "Hey, Jim, what are they saying? Tell me what they were saying." So this is, again, nothing new. It's very authentic to who he is. But he started to unveil a different side to baseball that I think was really interesting. And I think the cool thing about it is that he found these storylines within a play or an ejection or a brawl that you couldn't get from just watching the game, or you couldn't get from watching a highlight. But he broke it down in a way that resonated with baseball fans, but then also just resonates with sports fans, We share them with non-sports fans because they're just storytelling. And he like will find like a moment in how a fan reacts or the camaraderie between two players in the dugout. So these just little stories within the game, I think that's what helped us reach a large audience that resonated with like outside of just the baseball world.
Was it his ambition to sort of turn it into a career all along?
You know what? I don't think he knew how big it was going to get. He was a wedding videographer back in 2017, living in California at the time. And he really wanted someone to talk to the Yankees about, but we were living in California. He didn't have anyone. So he turned to Twitter and started building this Yankee community. And then one of his friends said, "Hey, if I gave you $20,000 to quit your job and do this full time, would you do it?" And he said yes. And he went with it. He knew he had a following. I remember the day he got 7,000 Twitter followers. And he said, "Wow, I really have something. I'm going to leverage this and start a podcast." And then from there, he started the YouTube. So our growth is really organic. I think it just snowballs. And once we hit a next milestone, it kind of opens up the door to, okay, what are we going to do next? And where can we take this with our community? So we always have a vision or a next step. But no, he did. He wasn't in California thinking like, I'm going to build a creator-led sports media company focused on baseball and now creator own sports and have other creators come on board. It's just like an evolution of the process.
Yeah, and that's what it is now, right? I think you could describe it as a creator-centered sports
Yep.
platform. How do you?
Yes. So we are a creator-led sports media company. That's how I describe it. Everything we do is led by creators. We focus on video content and we build sports brands that come to life in many different ways on the internet. So we do YouTube videos, we have podcasts, we have social media, but then we also have, a merch business and we have a newsletter and we do live events. But the foundation is a creator-led sports media company and really focus on creating engaging videos.
So that's one of the things I guess that would make you would say that makes it different from sort of the competitors out there. How else is Jomboy differentiated?
Our tone of voice. So that was something that we learned from the beginning. In the world of sports, we had something unique and we were really just being ourselves. But I think we resonated with a lot of people because we are super passionate, we are opinionated, but we don't do hot takes or controversy just for the sake of it. If we have a strong opinion on something, we're going to share it. And then we describe it as you're at a backyard barbecue, you're at a family reunion. Yeah, we're going to poke fun at each other, rag on you a little bit, but it's all in good fun. We never cross that line. And this resonated with a community of people. I don't think they felt like they had that home in sports where they always felt included.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about sort of how the company has expanded since you've been on board. And I wonder if you can kind of remind us when you joined this group and sort of what's new since you've been here.
Yeah. So I joined in December of 2020. At the time, it was mostly a podcast network, a couple of social media handles, and we had Jimmy and Jake really were the only two full-time creators. Now we have over 20 creators in the Jomboy Media ecosystem. We put out 5,000 videos a month. We have 20 brands, 44 shows. Like, I just can't believe how big it's gotten. 100 different social accounts. We cover baseball. We were built on baseball, but we really have expanded into other verticals. So we focus on gaming content. We do these like sports challenges type of content. We Got Ice is a really successful creator duo and brand of ours. And then we've also created our own sports league, which is really crazy and something that we're really proud of and will be a big part of our future. And it's called Warehouse Games. And it's a creator-led sports league where we make up our own sports. So we make up our version of wiffle ball, or we made our version of slap ball. And I still have to pinch myself that this is a reality, but we got a warehouse in Jersey City. We create our own sports. We post a video. 3 days later, 50,000 people are tuning in and watching 40 minutes to an hour-long game of a game that we made up. They have to learn the rules and learn the team names and learn all the players. So that's been a really fun new world for us and a big part of our growth plans.
What do you know about the fan that would that would suggest that they're into watching a sport that you've never heard of for 40 minutes or an hour?
Yeah. So we've built a really tight knit community and they're really loyal to us. So that we're just really grateful because it allows us to try crazy things like this. And we know our core community is going to give it a shot. But what I think fans want, our community audience want from sports creators is they want it to be lighthearted and they want to have fun with it. So it's really quirky in the fact that there's silly rules and we're in a warehouse in Jersey City. And I mean, don't tell them I said these, but like our creators are not professional athletes. They're suburban dads, right? Playing in a warehouse in Jersey City. So I think the fans can see themselves playing, right? It's really relatable. Like we're special because we're not special and they get super invested in it.
Cool. So how have these new products led to brand deals and I could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we're lucky from the beginning. We had a really solid base of long-term brand partners. So DraftKings, SeatGeek, Shady Rays, they've been on board with us from 2021, 2020. And then what's been really exciting is because of the expansion and everything that new that we're doing over the past month, we brought on some really exciting new brand partners. T-Mobile just signed with us, Corona signed with us, Captain Morgan signed with us. And what we deliver for these brands is the younger generation of sports fans. We know how to speak to them. And then also as creators and influencers are becoming a bigger part of brand budgets, I think it's nerve-wracking for some brands because they are used to controlling the asset, just like producing a TV commercial back in the day, handing it over to a media company. The media company runs that. And now we are producing the commercial and deliver and distributing it. So to build, you really need to have trust with your brand partners. And they know from over the years, listening to our content and the community that we've built, like we're not going to mess that up. We keep a positive, playful tone and transitioning over to letting a creator like run with your messaging. Like that's really important to the brand partners.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, again, what's attractive to them about Jomboy?
So it's our tone of voice and it's how we have a loyal community. I think the coolest, just like instant reaction that our brand partners see is we did our first integration T-Mobile into one of Jimmy's flagship breakdown videos, those lip reading videos that you were talking about. And the way that Jimmy integrates the brand is so natural and it's not like stop, we're going to do this 30-second commercial. Like he weaves it was at T-Mobile Park, right, in Seattle, so he talks about that. And when I was looking at the comments on this video, our comment section from our community is just flooded with people saying, I'm so happy for you, T-Mobile signed. Oh my God, I'm pumped. I got a T-Mobile ad. Oh, the ad was better than the content itself. And brands see that and they see how receptive our community is to welcoming them into this world. And I think that's why a lot of brands like want to come on board. It's because the community that we've cultivated.
Okay, so I see where the warehouse games jumped to Bally Sports recently.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what has that meant for the brand, and why does it work for linear TV?
Yeah. So this is just really interesting, I think, of stuff that's going on in the space. And I think that the industry is starting to recognize that digital content creators and content creators that can create content and just post on YouTube, they are creating really captivating formats that are successful across platform, right? So I think YouTube used to be seen as like, well, anyone can just, upload a video and post it. That's not the cream of the crop of where you're getting content. And that sort of has shifted. So I think the Bally's sports deal validates that. Why they did the deal, I think that they want to deliver programming across their networks that speaks to a younger generation of sports fans. What I also thought was really interesting is that they are looking at the deal they did with us as a replacement or in the same category as a league deal, as sports rights. Right. So sports rights are hotter than ever right now. The value is going up because there's more competition around them. And we are creating our own sports league that really resonates with the younger generation. So they're treating it as like just like they have MLB rights, they now have warehouse games rights.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating. Fascinating. So as you're looking out today, I mean, what do you see still as the bigger opportunities that are still out there for Jomboy?
Jomboy, I think it's continuing to build warehouse games. That is what I'm most excited about. I see this as a brand that can have international distribution rights. I think we can put on large scale live events. I think there's a way that we can start getting the community to play these sports, right? And packaging up, we're going to send you the kit of how to play the game, and you can buy all the gear and the apparel. So expanding that additional distribution and getting the community more involved, that's a big part of our future. I also think that a lot of our future is unknown because we follow and lead with what our creators want to talk about. And that's how we've stayed so true to who we are. So, when we're thinking about expansion, we don't think about, okay, let's start a new podcast talking about this team or talking about this sport. We say, what creators are out there that align with our brand voice and how can they fit into what we're building? And then we say to that creator, like, what are you passionate about? What do you want to talk about? So staying nimble and leading with what's true to the creator, I think has worked well for us.
Okay. What do you find most challenging day to day?
Oh, that, creators are humans, they're people. And just in my background working for a lot of ad tech companies, ad tech could scale really easily, right? Thinking about how creators' businesses can scale, people don't scale as easily as technology. So I think time is our most valuable resource and how we prioritize our time.
Okay. We talked a little bit about this already, but the future of sports media through Jomboy's eyes?
Yeah, I think sports is the value of sports is going to continue to increase. I think live sports, it is very powerful in getting together audiences. And I think that sports are going to continue to be more fun and interactive, and that there's opportunity to create new sports leagues that are quirky and exciting and fun. And like, that's where we want to go with the future of it.
Okay. I didn't ask this, but are you a sports fan?
So I am a sports fan, casual sports fan, a bigger sports fan through osmosis of being in the office. I joke with my husband that like he's like a crazy sports fan, and they turned me the other way a little bit because I'm just surrounded by sports, not so much. I need to balance it out a little bit.
So yeah, leading into my question, I mean, being a female head of a media company, especially in the sports world, has that brought in any particular challenges that you'd like to address?
No, not really. I don't think of myself as like a female executive. I just think of myself as like an executive in the sports world. I think that, I'd be lying if I said there weren't challenges for females, but I just try to not to focus on those and focus on like how I can grow as a person and bring value.
Okay. Well, the question I'd like to ask all our guests, are there any some brands out there that you admire or campaigns you've seen that come to mind that have sort of impressed you over the recently?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been so focused on like what our brands are doing. And I think that I'm like looking to, SeatGeek comes to mind because they are so creator first. And I think they have been so successful with us because they just let us be ourselves. So I try to follow along with like what those brands are doing and idolize them.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Courtney Hirsch. It was really great having you on.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
That was Courtney Hirsch, Chief Operating Officer at Jomboy Media. And I'm John Springer, Senior Reporter at Ad Age. I'd like to thank our producer, Lauren Ciardio, and remind you that you can subscribe to the Marketer's Brief wherever you get podcasts. That's all for this week. We'll see you next time.
Marketer's Brief listeners get $40 off an adage.com subscription. Sharpen your marketing edge and visit adage.com/brief for your discount.